The basic transform properties consist of 5 different types of adjustables or properties, which can also be keyframed or changed over time. Keyframes decide where a layer or that which is attached to a layer is moving from one point in space and time to another point in space and time. Basically, seeing this stopwatch beside a property, that means that you can animate it over time. And moving forward to 1 second and pressing the stopwatch here, this is where the text layer called navigating will be at 1 second. If we then go back to 0 seconds again and drag up the text by just clicking, holding and dragging it upwards, we automatically create a new keyframe by moving the layer or position property of it. Either you adjust it directly down here in the properties section or directly within the composition. We can press spacebar for a playback and you will see it move into frame from point A to point B in 1 second time. A frame means a single image in a sequence of pictures, which lined up together creates the basic movement and video. Then drag the keyframe a little bit further in to the left, and the animation goes faster and vice versa if we drag it a bit more to the very right. This was the most basic linear movement within After Effects using keyframes, but should give you quite a good start at least. We got the anchor point at the top. This is the point or anchor from which manipulations or changes are made. Possibly move the layer horizontally and vertically, but keep the actual anchor point in the same spot, meaning that the layer will, for example, scale and rotate directly from that point. Center anchor point in new shape layers, helpful for just ensuring that the shapes rotate and scale from the very center without having to manually center it each time afterwards. That's a valuable extra to that setting when you're centering the anchor point within a layer, for example, a shape layer. You may center the selected layers in view or modifies the position property to place anchor points in the center of the current view. Hit Command or Control plus Home. If you want to center anchor point in the visible content you're working with, Command or Control plus Option or Alt and the Home key. Compared to when using the position property, the whole layer will move together with the anchor point. And a great ability for the position property is that if we right-click it, there's an option saying separate dimensions. So instead of only being able to animate them together with the keyframes, it's possible to do it individually or separately. And to change the movement of only the actual anchor point, we choose the Pan Behind anchor point tool in the toolbar and move it around to wherever we like to manipulate the layer. Then we're heading into the last one, which is the opacity, and letting you adjust the transparency of the layer. Next up, we got those 5 very basic transform property keyboard shortcuts that's kind of a must know. So the first one, to be able to show only the anchor point property, press A. For the opacity, T. The position, P. Rotation and orientation, the R. And finally, scale property, S. 5 must know. Currently, we're in the normal 2D mode, as just mentioned, but if turning on the 3D for the layer, there are a few changes to the options of the transform properties. Instead of one rotation property, there's now one alternative called orientation. It's a little bit different from rotation, but works in a similar way. And it's containing the X, Y, and Z values together in that same order. Underneath there are separate rotation properties with X rotation, that will rotate the text against or away from the screen along the horizontal axis. Y rotation instead turns or spin it to the left or right with the vertical axis, while the Z rotation works similar to rotation in 2D. The basic transform properties more or less could be seen as a stable base for all type of movement or animation inside After Effects.